Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
If you've ever been curious about how you teach your kids bilingual Chinese and English, I've got the lady. She literally wrote the book on the topic, How to Empower Bilingual Connections, tapping into your Chinese heritage to teach them Mandarin, one of the oldest languages in the world, one of the most followed. I think it's the third most followed language in the world today of close to 8 billion people. Today, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Tiane Teo Ting Ting. That was a mouthful for me, but she's here. And I'm going to turn the presentation over to you, Ting Ting, as I know you, but I had to use the other two names to give you the total comprehensive package of introduction. And let's hear what you have to share with us during this session today.
Thank you, Mitch. I'm glad to be here to share insights on raising bilingual children with our audience today. Right. Now, Mitch, you know me, right? We are friends, and you know that I'm an educator and also a mother. So I've seen firsthand, the challenges and, the rewards of raising children. Now, my own journey of nurturing 3 kids to be effectively bilingual, along with my experience, 30 years exactly, in Singapore bilingual education system, inspired me to share practical strategies with parents. And I wanted this book to be a guide that not only offers insights, but also empower families to make bilingualism a natural and enjoyable part of their daily life.
Yeah, I want to bring up something right here that was not too long ago. It was a while ago where you brought up your daughter in a bilingual household. She had a job opportunity with a very large Fortune 500 company. Tell us that story. Let's just dig right in. The result of your insistence of a bilingual household and bilingual children.
Yeah, Mitch, I've got 3 children. I've got 2 daughters, and my youngest is a son. Now, since young, I spent a lot of time, with my children, and I wanted to ensure that they have a very good environment, conducive environment for language learning, not only English, as English is our dominant medium of language in school. So I wanted to ensure that they have the environment to learn Chinese, which is our heritage language. So I spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of efforts in ensuring that they master 2 languages. And of course, to my surprise, my son mastered Japanese on his own. Yeah, so he can speak as good as a native speaker. Now, come back to my daughter. So when she graduated from the university in Singapore and wanted to find a job, so this job that she dreamt of is really the dream job for many, many people. She was telling me that 2,000 people vie for one job.
Wow.
The position that, she's looking for. So she had this interview, and the person who interviewed her is from China, Shanghai. While their interview was in English, she also shared some of her experiences and introduced herself in Mandarin. I guess that's how she impressed the interviewer and got herself the job. Yeah.
Well, that matters. Out of 2,000 people, and she got her dream job, and it's because of your insistence. So you know what you're doing. But yeah, please continue.
Yes. So do you want to know what are the benefits that, why do I insist on making them bilingual?
Sure.
No, the ability to speak two languages is a very powerful advantage that lasts a lifetime. Now, study shows that bilingual children have stronger cognitive skills, better problem-solving abilities, and even greater emotional intelligence. Now, when children learn both English and Chinese or any other two languages, they gain access to two rich cultures, unlocking opportunities in business, communications, and even relationships later in their life. It's not just about speaking two languages, it's about thinking in multiple ways, fostering creativity, and connecting with their heritage. Now, Mitch, do you know that bilingual children possess more robust brains? Studies reveal that children, when they actively use two languages, their brain develop stronger neural connections, and this enhance brain activities, and it leads to higher density of gray matter in the areas associated with language processing. And
wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised, but I didn't know it to be a fact. Yes.
Yeah. And the switch between the languages will improve their cognitive abilities, making their brain even stronger. So besides having better focus and memory, bilingual learners navigate complex problems with greater flexibility and creativity.
So at what age should a parent integrate or initiate a second language to their kids?
As early as possible, even in infancy stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And surprisingly, children could navigate the different languages. No
So
problem.
like in the house, you and your husband both speak Chinese fluently, or else I'm sure you wouldn't have picked them, because you had this initiative. So your kids, before they start school, I guess in Singapore they start at about age 5. Is that true, or 6?
Even younger, they went for toddler group like 3 years old, or some even younger than that.
Okay,
Some
but
even go for infant care.
they learn Mandarin in the household, just like, here, hold your plate, or let's go to bed now, let's brush your teeth. All of that was instruction in Chinese or in English, or both.
For my family, because I stay with my parents-in-law, and my parents-in-law could only speak Mandarin. They couldn't speak
Ah,
English. Yes. So from young, they converse with their grandparents in Mandarin. Now, for me and my husband, it depends. Sometimes we speak in English, like storytelling, but sometimes we will also create opportunities for us to speak in Mandarin. So as they grow older, because they have a lot of exposure in school, okay, in the English language, we realize that we need to spend more time with them at home in their Chinese language. So as they grew older, we spend more time with them speaking our mother tongue language, which is Chinese or Mandarin.
smart.
Yeah. So we do speak to them, get them to read storybooks, and I also immerse them of cultural activities. Yeah, like we celebrate Mid-Autumn Festival, and we involved in, like, my girl was an MC of the events, where I invited my neighbors to come to the neighborhood to come together to celebrate the festival. Yeah, so was really fun, and they really enjoy it, understanding the culture, the festival, and at the same time learning the language.
Yeah, and that's that cultural bridge, but you're still connected to one of the oldest cultures in the world. How old is Mandarin?
How old? More than
Yes.
5,000 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
The oldest civilizations that is still, present now and embraced by many, many people.
Well, and I think it's one of the fastest emerging necessary languages. I mean, English is still number 1. I think Spanish is number 2, and Mandarin is number 3, isn't it, in terms of the usage of languages?
I think we are talking about maybe in the
The global
western part
market.
of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, but of course, there are a lot of Chinese all over the world, and many of them are bilingual, but they are able to speak their native language. my parents came from China to Singapore. Now, Singapore is a immigrant society. Now, I know that Mitch, you have come to Singapore for many, many times.
Yes.
I know you like the food in Singapore, especially the Peranakan food.
Yes, I love the food. Yes.
Yes. And do you know that our country is well known for our educational system, especially our bilingual education system?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Let me introduce Singapore to you and
Okay.
many audience over here who may not have visited Singapore. Now, Singapore is a diverse and vibrant country in Southeast Asia. Now, it's a home to people from different ethnic backgrounds, cultures, and languages. Now, our bilingual policy with English as a common language while keeping our mother tongues alive helps us stay connected to our roots and also the world. It also strengthens communication between the different communities, promoting understanding, unity, and harmony. Now, Singapore education system places a very strong emphasis on bilingualism. In fact, bilingualism is a cornerstone of Singapore educational system.
Yeah, and I think you have, like in Singapore, you have the ethnic group of the Chinese, which are the dominant. You have the Malay people and the Tamil speakers, correct?
Yes, correct, and also other languages. So in school, English is our main medium of instruction for all languages except our mother tongue. So if I'm a Chinese, I will pick up Chinese language. And if you are Malay or Indian or some other languages, so we will learn our heritage language. Now, this structured approach ensures that children are proficient in two languages from a very young age.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think that would be a great practice around the world. I know in Europe, many people speak 3 or 4 languages with total fluency: English, Spanish, French, German. It's pretty common in that continent. But at least you have it there. And in America, sadly, very few people speak a second language. I'm a rare exception because I speak Spanish, but certainly not at a bilingual level. This is great.
Yeah, and in Singapore, conducive environment where there are a lot of support in the community. For example, our National Library Board offers extensive collections of books, in different languages, and there are a lot of community programs that encourage cultural immersion. Now, Singapore also celebrates language through music, media, and storytelling, making it a part of daily life. Now, as the world becomes more and more connected, Singapore's strong bilingual foundations ensures that our children stay rooted in their identity, their heritage, while thriving globally. So embracing bilingualism is a bridge between cultures and it's a key to success and a valuable gift for our future generations.
Great.
You'd like to know more about what I did at home to nurture children? Sure. Right. I have a few strategies which I shared in my book. So let me share with you a few simple but powerful strategies.
Absolutely.
The one parent, one language. Now, one parent consistently speaks English while the other speaks Chinese. Now, this associate languages with specific person or context. However, it's crucial that the parent speaking the less dominant language should spend more time with the child to reinforce the exposure and ensure balanced language development. So that's one. Now, the second one would be cultural celebrations, which I have mentioned earlier, to incorporate festivals and traditions, from the different cultures. And third would be very fun and fun learning activities. So parents can also seek out language playgroups to create an immersive environment for their children.
Well, now, you just celebrated Chinese.
Yes, I want to talk about it. Yeah, we have just celebrated our Lunar New Year festival. is a cherished Chinese tradition where we visit relatives and exchange blessings. Now, one of the customs in Singapore, uniquely Singapore, or maybe Malaysia, is tossing of yu sheng. Have you heard about it?
I
Yes,
did it. I
yes.
did it for Chinese New Year when I was in
Really?
Malaysia. Yes.
Wow. And it's called lo hei in Cantonese. Now,
Yes.
as we lift the various, ingredients into the air, we joyfully express well wishes and auspicious phrases. For example, 步步高升 symbolizes continuous career advancement. 国泰民安 wishes for a prosperous nation and peace for its people. And 身体健康 conveys wishes for good health. So, Mitch, I wish you 身体健康 means good health.
Thank you. And I love to be able to eat the noodles and what was it? Vegetables? Was it vegetables?
Yes,
Okay.
radish, yeah,
It was a lot
carrot.
of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, a lot of fun. Yeah. Now, Mitch, there are many parents who worry about, the obstacles that their children might face, like children missing, languages or refusing to speak the language. So I have a lot of advice for parents. Language missing, okay, is something that, they may encounter. The children may receive speaking language, and if they try, they may insert the Chinese words into English sentences. And no worry, it's perfectly normal, especially in the early bilingual development. So over time, as children gain confidence, they will naturally, know how to separate the two languages. And if the child resists to speak the language, now a lot of parents become very, very anxious or very upset or very angry. No, they shouldn't do that. They should accept the child and maybe find another time or create an environment where it's fun, for them to use the language. So, for example, in an English dominant family, parents could make Chinese language the special language for certain fun activities like playing sport. Let's go to the beach, and it will be a Chinese language day. So the whole day at the beach, they would speak that language. And also storytelling. Choose storybooks that the children like. For example, the children like cars, or they like dinosaurs. They can find books that the children like in the Chinese language, if the Chinese language is a less dominant language, and ensure that the children, enjoy, the process when they learn the language. So parents and caregivers should also consistently create routines and schedules for language practicing. So I would like to encourage parents to keep going, and celebrate the little, success and never give up.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to hear about some success stories of people
100%.
are
Let's
able
share
to
them.
master
Yes.
two languages? Do you know who is this person?
He's a Singaporean pop star, well known in Asia.
Wow, he's called JJ Lin. And he was my student when I was teaching in which is a pre-university in Singapore. And I saw how he was from an English-speaking family. When he first, came to the school, he was not so conversant in, the language. But I knew that he liked to write songs, he likes to sing. And because I was the teacher in charge of the interest group, which is a Chinese society, and I brought in instructors to teach him songwriting and lyrics writing. And after that, he was signed on by the record company.
Well, he speaks not only English, he does the songs in English and in Mandarin. Per your instruction. That's great. That's great. So he tapped into his bilingual background, but he wasn't proficient in the beginning, was he?
No. So fueled by his passion for music, he embraced the language and used it as a powerful tool to connect with audience on a deeper level.
Very
now
smart.
the mental pop, power star, a powerhouse, and superstar, of course. And he really captivates millions of people across China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Southeast Asia, with chart-topping hits and sold-out concerts in major cities. He has not only achieved his dreams, but also proven that the willingness to learn a language can open doors to incredible opportunities.
And it paid off big time.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, another example is my own son. This is my son, Rayhan. He became fluent in Japanese simply by immersing himself in anime and virtual YouTubers. Now, all these stories share with us that passion-driven learning is extremely effective. And parents just need to create an environment where children find joy in learning the language. And if parents would like to know more about how they can nurture bilingual children, do you know where should they go?
Yes, Empowering
My
Bilingual
book.
Connections, Double
My
Tongues
book.
and Families with Chinese Roots. You've wrote this book. You are a best-selling author because when it came out, you hit top of the charts instantly. It's such a key. What's in store? So this gives them the opportunity to get your book. I recommend everybody go and buy Ting Ting's book. Teach your kids Chinese. It's especially in Asia. Much of the audience listening to you today are in Asia, and it's obvious Chinese is huge. I think there's 1.7 billion people of Chinese heritage throughout the world, and Chinese are literally everywhere. And if you speak the mother tongue to somebody, if you're as far away, I met Chinese people in Peru, South America, and I blew the lady's mind. I was in a Chinese restaurant in Lima, Peru. I never shared the story with you, Ting Ting. And I said, Shay Shay to her. Just Shay Shay. Thank you. Huh? She lit up. Now, she spoke fluent Spanish, didn't speak English, but she spoke Mandarin, obviously. And I said, thank you in Mandarin. And she, huh? The face, I saw all her teeth. She had this look of not being friendly and wasn't very approachable and kind of a tough exterior. All of a sudden, she gave me more food for free because I simply spoke her tongue. And when you have bilingual proficiency at your fingertips, and I only know a few words, and I use that, all of a sudden, it changed someone's entire mood. She elevated. I tapped into her heritage. People get really excited about recognizing where they come from and having our job as educators. I'm an educator. You're a professional educator. You work in education in Singapore. But when you teach, this is why it's so important to listen to this session. And I've learned so much from you during the year that I've known you now is when you create this environment, make it fun, make it interesting, whereas you're not forcing them, but you have the activities. You talk about the activities in the book and how you create the festivals and you embrace your culture versus being forced the culture. You brought it in where you have these activities. That lends itself to your professional education background. That's why your book is so distinctive. That's why you are truly the go-to expert in your category because you've lived it, you've seen it with your own children, you've got the credentials of all the right letters and acronyms next to your name as an educator, and put all of those pieces together to create this empowering bilingual connections. And I know the ordeal we went through because you're a professional educator to even make this book possible. It took extra time and you've got a special interview on the CW television network in the US later today, don't you? That's fantastic. And what you've been involved in the media, what media have you been covered in Singapore already?
I was interviewed by the Straits Times, but it has not been published yet.
Yes.
Later, in the month.
And what was
Yes.
the Chinese publication when all the authors came out with their books?
Yeah, it is 8 World.
8 World.
Online featured on our books, not only mine, and also my group of fellow writers, and we were so glad about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you were covered by, I interviewed you, and I'm an NBC TV host, and you're also getting covered by the CW. That's later today, which is another very large network in the United States, and that will broadcast shortly. You can share that with the people, and it's because you've written a book.
Yes,
Books open doors that are normally closed. Our good friend Shi Lin, who I interviewed previously, who's also one of the conference speakers, he talks about lotus and water lilies. He has a picture with the deputy prime minister holding his book. He would not have access to that man without it. Books open doors. And I would like you to share for a moment what it's done for you. I mean, you're going to get beyond the CW. NBC is also covered. 8 World was covered. You've got the Straits Times coming out shortly. CNA probably is around the corner as an opportunity, because media builds momentum, builds exposure, but the bud before it blossoms, the seed before it becomes a flower, is a book. Tell us about that journey and what it's done.
I was even invited to a university in China to share with the English department about my book.
Wow.
It opened doors to me. And surprisingly, I thought that, the Chinese would be very, very strong in their language learning, and they probably don't need my book. But I realized that the new immigrants who migrated to Singapore are very, very anxious about their children's language learning as well. Even though they do master the language very well, but their children, as a second generations of immigrants, somehow lose, the mastery of Chinese language. And my fellow friends are actually quite worried. So they like my book. They wanted me to write more. And
well, that's great.
I'm very honored. Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, scan this link, use your phone, take a screenshot, invest in her book, learn more from Ting Ting, the go-to expert. She's a celebrated expert. She's been validated by the media, and the media doesn't interview people unless they are vetted and tested and they have the legitimization of a book. That's why it's so important to consider writing a book, but not only put it into play, make your actions turn into dreams. Ting Ting, it's been a great session. Glad you contributed today, and thank you for your time. And I wish you all the success in the world. And I believe this was tremendously valuable for our attendees today and the questions that they had. And the question I would like to ask in closing is, when should someone start their book, turning their dream? Because everybody has a book inside their head. When should they start?
They should as possible.
Now. It's always now.
Don't wait.
Yeah, you had this dream. You went through a previous course before we met. It maybe sparked the interest, but it wasn't the time. And then we met, went through the process. It took a little longer than expected because of the governmental hoops you had to jump through. But now you've got this book, and it's great. It's opening doors everywhere. And I'm proudly got you placed on the CW, which will happen later today. You'll be ready, and you're going to be on American television again. So this is fantastic. Ting Ting, thank you for your time, and
Thank you for pushing me to write my book, and thank you for all your encouragement and the opportunities that you have given to me. I really owe it to you. Thank you so much.
We'll see you again soon.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.